What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another one. Today we have something a little bit different planned from the usual video. We're not just going to be showing you guys killing ducks and catching fish and that kind of thing. This is going to be a tutorial video for those of you that are new to duck hunting. I would like to give you some tips and tricks that I think you guys can do that will help you improve your chances of shooting ducks, because I think it becomes so common practice for people to think that it's just common to go out and shoot limits and limits of birds, because that's all that we ever see on YouTube, and chances are, 90% of your hunts might not go that way. Obviously, we work for, we try to hunt the hunts that are really, really good like that, but they don't come every day. But there is some things we can do to try and work towards increasing our chances of shooting more birds, and that's what I'd like to talk to you guys about today. The three factors that are going to affect your hunt the most in the morning when you're first setting up is going to be your positioning, and that goes more into just, where you set up on the water. The positioning is so important because you have to keep in consideration where the sun is and where the wind is blowing. Okay, and the next third thing is going to be your decoy placement, because obviously there's a lot of different patterns you can throw out, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you, a J is better than a V or a U or anything like that, but I think there are some things you can do with these three things that'll increase your chances. So with that being said, the first thing, which is your initial placement in the water from where the sun is for those of you that are new with duck hunting, you really don't want to set up with the sun facing you. Okay, and the reason behind this is it just makes it so easy for those ducks to pick you out on a sunny day, because everything that you have has a glare to it. Even your decoys in the sun might have some shine, and anything like if you wear glasses or if you have a little shine on your boat or on your anything like that, the ducks are going to pick up more of when the sun is facing straight at you. The ideal position, which you guys can see from this video, would be for the sun to either be over your shoulder to the left, over the shoulder to your right, or right behind you. Okay. Now, another thing with this, which is what's so important to consider, is where the wind is blowing. If there's not much wind, you really don't have to worry because the birds are probably going to come from any direction. But if it's a windy morning, you really want to make sure, if possible, that those birds are going to land into the wind looking right at you. An ideal situation would be for the sun to be at your back too, so that those birds are looking right at the sun. What that's going to do is those birds are going to have a harder time seeing you because they're looking into the sun, and along with that, they're also going to have a harder time landing in any other direction because of the way you place yourself in the wind. Now, you don't have to set up with the birds landing straight at you. You can actually have the birds, coming in from the left or the right. You really just don't want them coming over your head because it becomes the most hardest to see them. Now, with this particular hunt, we had the wind blowing from the southeast blowing to the northwest, okay? And what that meant is those birds were going to be coming in from our right side, coming in this way and looking at the sun, which is over our right shoulder. Obviously, it didn't really work out that way. It wasn't the greatest hunt, but these are some things that you need to keep mind of while you're setting up in the morning, because obviously it's easy to just go throw your decoys out and hope something comes in, but that might not always be the case. And if you can do things that help your success rate, I think you need to keep mind of them. Along with that, the third thing I wanted to touch on for setting up your decoys is your decoy spread. I really think that I really believe that it's not that important how many duck decoys you have. Now, goose hunting's a little bit different because they like lots and lots of decoys, but for ducks, anywhere from 6 to 24 decoys is more than enough. Okay, you can shoot ducks with as little as 6 decoys and as many as 3, 4, 5 dozen. But for those of you that don't have an unlimited budget, just get some decoys and get out there. Okay, now when you're setting your decoys up, I like to keep my spread relatively open. As you guys can see from this image here, it's almost in a line. I mean, we gave it a little bit of a U on the ends just so the birds could kind of have a little bit of a pocket to land. But you don't need to keep that pocket really tight. You can leave your spread open, spread your decoys out. You really just have to see what works and what doesn't. But I think by tightening your spread up, you're really constricting yourself to only letting birds land from one direction. And if there's not a lot of wind, it might just not work out that way. So keep that in mind. You know, if you're going to do a formation pattern, try and leave it as open as you can so birds from all over can land, if that makes sense. Now, if you know that they're going to be landing from a certain direction, by all means, set your spread up in that direction. But with that said, I think if you guys follow those tips for setting up in the morning, I believe it will help your success rate for shooting ducks. Along with that, I also wanted to talk to you guys about after your spread is up and you're hunting, sometimes the ducks might not like your spread. You need to constantly be changing it to see what's working and what isn't. One of the most common things that can make ducks flare, in my honest opinion, is if those birds are pressured really heavily and you're not shooting birds that, you know, have never seen a gun before, they're going to be a lot more hesitant to land in your decoys. And one thing that can do that is the mojo. Okay, the spinning wing decoys, in my opinion, can 100% make ducks flare, and it really just depends on each situation. But when it's sunny out, sometimes those wings have a glare and those ducks catch up on those things, and if they've seen 100 other spinning wing decoys just like it, they catch on to those things, okay? So keep in mind, you know, if the ducks are coming in and they flare at 100 yards, maybe try turning the decoy off, okay? And if that's not working, maybe try picking it up and putting it in the boat with you. Obviously, that may not work, but it can be a really good way to just kind of switch things up to see what's working and what isn't. And I really don't want to leave out one other thing that can make ducks flare, and obviously there's a whole line of things, but one of the most common, aside from your setup and where you are, is going to be whether the birds or not are seeing you. Because if they're seeing you, they're not going to go near you, right? It's very important to have a good hide. And in this particular hunt, I honestly don't think our hide was good enough because we had 3 kayaks side by side in some weeds, but it was sunny out. The birds could see good. They were flying high. I think they were seeing us. There's certain things you can do that would help your chances. I believe, you know, if you're hunting out of a big 14 or 16 foot boat, sometimes it's beneficial to throw your decoys out and park that boat 100 yards away and walk in with waders. It really just depends, but anything you can do to decrease your profile while hunting and be smaller and more compact and more camouflaged is going to help decoy those birds because they do see really, really, really well. So it's all things to keep in mind while you're hunting, and I hope you guys think this stuff is informational because I don't claim to be the best duck hunter out there, and I don't claim to shoot limits every time I go out. I live in Iowa. We don't always have the best duck hunting. We have ducks, but it can be tough. There's not a ton of water. There's things you can do that'll help, and I hope you guys try this and implement it to see how it'll work for you. Now, obviously, every situation is different. You could be field hunting. You could be water hunting. I hope that this is more geared towards water hunts because that's mostly about 90% of the hunts that I do are over water just because it can be really, really difficult to get permission on private land these days. So it's just sometimes easier for you to, hunt over water. So all in all, guys, that's about all I had planned for this video. I just really wanted to put it out there that there are things you can do to help your odds of shooting ducks. And I think you guys should try implementing this if you are having a hard time getting birds to decoy. And a lot of it starts with your initial setup in the morning and where you are in accordance to the sun, wind, and where your decoys are. So with nothing else, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you guys took something away from it. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to drop a comment down below. I'd be more than happy to answer your question or make a video about it. And if you guys like these informational videos, please hit the subscribe button and like this video so I can do more videos like this, because I love teaching people how to hunt. You know, I've been out with a couple of brand new duck hunters this year, and we've gotten both of them their first duck, which is very exciting. And I just love teaching people and getting new people into the sport. So if you guys liked it, please hit that subscribe button and like the video. And we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.